Deputies were alerted when a teenager told them he'd stumbled upon the body of a dead woman. The woman had lived inside this camper in a southeast Oklahoma County junkyard for the past year. An assistant state medical examiner called to the scene said the woman had been dead 1 to 3 days. Authorities are handling the death as a homicide.
There's blood spatters and things back there that lead us to believe there might have been some foul play, but his preliminary investigation of the body was such that he couldn't find anything out here that would lead him to believe that there was anything other than natural causes.
Doctors will try to determine the exact cause of death during an autopsy at the state medical examiner's office. The woman is described as a white female in her mid-50s. Her name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. Officers are searching for the woman's 19-year-old mentally retarded son who also lived in the camper. In a related development, deputies arrested a man who lived next door to the junkyard as a material witness in the case. The man was taken to the Oklahoma County Jail so that investigators can question him about the death. Scott Wallace, Action 4, Southeast Oklahoma County.
Out of nearly 400 new recruits to the Oklahoma City Fire Department, only a fraction will see the training through. Reaching the levels of a good firefighter won't be easy. There are hours and hours of instruction that will last at least 12 weeks. The coaching is good, but nothing can replace hands-on experience when it comes to fighting fires. Rookies are guided through mock drills that may save their lives someday, or the life of someone else. It's a real challenge. Firefighting requires a person to be in excellent physical condition, and strength is a part of the job. For that reason, fire officials say most women recruits don't stay with the department long. Here, teamwork is more important than anything else.
Water on!
Not every fire will be a towering inferno. Each blaze must be handled differently, and firefighters have to react in seconds. You have to be dedicated in order to train for a position which starts new recruits out at only $11,000 a year. Even though these men know they are on their way to a fire started by instructors, the trainees can't help but wonder, will they do the right things at the right time? The situation feels like reality. Every man has a part to play, hoping his role will be the key to putting the fire out fast. Oklahoma City firefighters are responsible for rolling out hoses over 621 square miles. Trainees understand it's a big responsibility for any department. This shows only a part of why the Oklahoma City Fire Department is considered one of the best and getting better. Ed Stewart, Action 4, the Oklahoma City Fire Training Center.
MCARE people said there appears to be a shot to the head, but we haven't confirmed that as yet until the medical examiner completes his checking into, and Detective Martin, who's investigating the scene.
Agriculture officials are still predicting a record wheat harvest for Oklahoma farmers. But a record wheat harvest doesn't mean profits for farmers. In fact, many times it drives the price down. At the present time, prices are from about $3.20 to $3.60 a bushel. Those prices are well below the cost of production. This isn't new. In fact, farmers have been dealing with this problem for years. So how are they staying in business? Oklahoma Agriculture Commissioner Jack Craig.
They've been living off their equity, and they're just getting deeper in debt.
Yeah, is that the secret? They're living off the equity? They just continue to borrow against their land?
That's been the case, I think, in the last 20 years here.
How long will farmers be able to continue to do that?
Well, it looks to me like it's gotten to about the, about the breaking point.
Craig says in 1960, farmers had $1 worth of debt for every $1 worth of income. Now, he says, farmers have $9 worth of debt for every $1 worth of income. U.S. Senator Lloyd Benson says the American farmer is in worse shape today than at any other time since the Great Depression. But the Texas politician says few people in Washington seem aware of the problem. Ben McCain, Action 4.
In view of our heavily involvement in the oil business, that we're probably experiencing more problems than some banks.
Last Friday, the chairman of the board of Penn Square Bank in Oklahoma City spoke about his bank's troubles. But matters were worse than Bill Jennings had said. During the 4th of July holiday, bank examiners determined things had gotten out of hand. By Monday night, Penn Square Bank was no more. The controller of the currency declared the bank, which had more than $500 million in assets, insolvent. Bank management met with FDIC officials Monday night, while bank employees were called in to hear the bad news. Federal employees began moving in their own supplies. The bank has been renamed the Insurance National Bank of Oklahoma City, and the FDIC will process the bank's accounts until the institution can be closed. Deposits of less than $100,000 are fully insured. Deposits of greater amounts will be considered as claims against the bank. Penn Square Bank had been heavily involved in oil and gas financing. 80% of the bank's outstanding loans were to energy-related companies. As the oil industry slumped, the bank's financial situation deteriorated. Shortly after 7:30 Tuesday morning, the chairman of the FDIC, Bill Isaac, held a press conference at the Hilton Inn. Isaac went to great pains to reassure bank customers that their money was safe.
The insured depositors have no need to be concerned about their funds. They will be paid by the FDIC. They have no need to come into the bank to receive their funds. They may still continue to write checks on their checking accounts. If they do need to come into the bank, we will be there and we will have the money available for them at any time. If the initial demands for funds are heavy, if there are long lines of depositors, we will keep the bank open 24 hours a day if necessary in order to meet those demands.
Isaac also said there are questions about the performance of bank management, and the FDIC will make a thorough investigation during the coming months. Despite Isaac's pledge that their accounts were safe, many customers were in line when the bank opened its doors at 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. These people wanted to make sure that their money was in their own hands.
This looks like any other summer camp, but there's more than swimming instructions going on here.
How many people have to hold their nose when they go in the water or feel like they do? Okay? First thing I'm going to teach you is how not to do that where you don't have to.
All the kids here are diabetics. Besides entering an age when they are responsible for giving themselves insulin injections, they're also learning not to let their condition stop them from doing anything they want to. The camp is sponsored by Children's Hospital, and for the last 4 years, the hospital has been spending $20,000 a year for 20 youngsters to attend Oklahoma's Camps for Diabetics. Camp instructors say more young people are found to be diabetic every year, but are learning through camps like this being a diabetic doesn't have to interfere with enjoying life. Ed Stewart, Action 4.
We are very interested in accepting applications and interviewing individuals who have previously been employed with Penn Square Bank. We don't know at this point what particular positions we will have available and what areas they will be in, but we are interested in interviewing those candidates and taking advantage and providing opportunities to those employees.
I'm Officer Bill Hanneman. On Thursday, July 1st, Christine and Cyril Orbach were brutally murdered in their Oklahoma City home.
Investigators have determined at 10:30 a.m. the Orbachs let a man into their home who was there on the pretext of buying the house. Once inside, the intruder forced the victims down this hallway to a room in the back of the house. There, both victims were slashed to death. The killer, stealing $50,000 in jewelry and other items, left the house through the garage doors and drove away in the victim's 1981 dark blue Toyota station wagon. At approximately 11:10 a.m., the killer returned to the murder scene. Parking the victim's vehicle in the street, he re-entered the house. This is a composite drawing of the man seen entering the house. He was described as a white male, 35 to 40, 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing about 180 pounds, having a stocky build. The suspect had thick, curly, sandy blonde hair and was wearing dark blue pants and a pink golf shirt. Later, the murderer drove to the Penn Square shopping mall and parked the Toyota station wagon on the north side of the mall. Crimestoppers is offering a $5,000 reward for information about the suspect that was driving this vehicle. If you have any information about this murder, call Crimestoppers at 235-7300. All callers will remain anonymous. You could earn a $5,000 reward, and you will be a Crime Stopper.
It is possible that an aircraft could be struck by lightning while it's in the air, while it's airborne. However, it is highly improbable, a very rare occurrence, because the aircraft is not grounded. The aircraft, the lightning bolt would have to be of a very high intensity, and it would have to be occur in a very close proximity to the aircraft.
It's back. All right, and you can hold on.
No, I think she...
We now have gone from 322 precincts to 266 precincts. Well, this reduction of 56 precincts will be able to save the taxpayer and the voter, anytime there's a countywide election, over $7,000.
The key element to the failure of Penn Square Bank was its freewheeling lending style. Loan officers have told Action 4 that the oil and gas division always worked at a hectic pace. But proper documentation and adequate security for a loan took a back seat to making the deal.
Marlene is our expert on that, and she usually does help.
The oil and gas loan divisions at other banks have been busy, and they're paying close attention to detail. These loan closers at Liberty National Bank help loan officers by carefully checking documentation. Other staffers make sure there's sufficient security to back up a loan. Executive Vice President Fred Moses says older customers of the bank can get a quick response to their loan requests because they have a proven track record. But the bank has to be careful to get all the information it needs from new customers.
Does he have the proper engineering? We'd look at the personal financial statement. We're very interested in the character of a borrower. I mean, that is very important to the relationship. And is it providing an economic need for the community or for the state? More importantly, if you do agree to make the loan, are there adequate sources of repayment in place to service the debt over a reasonable period of time?
And Moses says the loan closers should be ready to stay busy because the bank is still prepared to lend to qualified oil and gas producers. Bill Ross, Action 4 at Liberty National Bank.
In a letter read by the Human Services Chairman, Reginald Barnes, Rader listed the goals he had accomplished as director and said, quote, "It is a good time to retire, so the commission may place the leadership of the agency in another director's hands," unquote. Rader made no reference to the recent controversies that plagued his agencies. Governor George Nigh and other state officials were quick to praise Rader today for his years of service to the state of Oklahoma.
I would like to thank Lloyd Rader for his 30 years plus service to the people of Oklahoma, and in accepting his resignation, wish him the very best as he continues to serve in any way that he deems it right that he should serve.
Rader will stay on as director of the Human Services Department until January 1st, 1983. Kurt Autry, Action 4.
The FDIC has told the employees of the former Penn Square Bank, except for senior officers, that they will be put on a 15-month appointment.
He had a moderate paying job, and yet he was buying things well beyond his means and paying cash for them. And this obviously caught our interest, and like I said, from there on in we developed the leads.
Well, tell us why Continental Illinois would place $1 billion in loans with Penn Square. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's like A&P buying wholesale from a mom and pop store around the corner. There's got to be a reason why. You know the reason.
There's a bunch of them like this little guy in the tree.
What has happened is this colony of historical significance was back on another section of town here, and they raised the entire area to build a shopping complex on it, and the birds have been struggling for survival, and this is the only place in the world that this colony reproduces to guarantee that these individual birds are going to survive. And they come up here from South America, and so for them it's extremely important.
Traveling on the Broadway extension on weekday mornings from Edmond to downtown Oklahoma City doesn't go this smooth. To keep traffic moving at a steady pace, more people have started carpools, and others have been avoiding driving hassles by taking city buses to and from work. But buses may not be carrying Edmond residents to their jobs soon, because the Edmond City Council voted to end its contract with MassTrans. Edmond paid the bus company $10,000 3 years ago to refurbish buses for the Edmond route. City officials say high cost is why they decided to end the contract. However, bus riders may have another option available to them.
Well, it was just a matter of the local ridership, but not supporting the bus route, and the city fathers felt like that it wasn't a good, prudent management to subsidize such few people. COPTA is one that will sponsor the public hearing. They are the one that receives the federal funds, the MassTrans funds, and they are holding the public hearing, and it's just to provide public input into the closing of the route or the keeping of the route.
There is already a bus club of sorts operating to and from Norman, and it has been successful. If Edmond bus riders decide to do the same thing, it's doubtful the one-way fare of $1.20 will increase. In fact, the fare could even decrease, depending on how many memberships are sold. The public hearing on future bus service for Edmond will be August 3rd at 7 o'clock in City Hall. Ed Stewart, Action 4, Edmond.
You know, nobody speaks of the merits from the day one's here.
The name of the board is the State Banking Board.
In fact, I was born here in Oklahoma City.
Guess the banking business has changed.
The department is charged with performing an investigation into the application, the type of people that are organizing them, their motives, whether they're doing it for their own personal benefits or whether they're motivated by sincerely wanting to be a part of a new bank.
The 32-year-old victim was taking this product, the Cambridge Diet, and diet pills at the time of her death. The Cambridge mix is initially taken 3 times a day with water only. The plan allows for 330 calories a day. Cambridge officials stress the importance of following a well-balanced plan and cannot answer as to the victim's death.
And I can't answer to what happened to her or what she was doing and what she wasn't doing. Obviously, she wasn't doing what we tell people to do with the Cambridge Diet Program. Certainly, anybody who's on any kind of medication should see their doctor, and counselors are taught, shown, and even as they went on the product themselves, told to see their physician. And particularly if they have any need to use pills or they're on any kind of pill.
But 330 calories a day is not well balanced, but dangerous, according to Carol Bannister, president of the State Dietetic Association.
I don't think people understand, what they're really dealing with. When a calorie level is this low, you're going to be breaking down body protein, muscle mass. This includes the heart. You're possibly going to be putting yourself into a state of ketosis, which is also a health risk.
Food and Drug Administration officials have issued numerous warnings on diet foods and diet pills. Cambridge officials say the danger is not in their product, but in how it is often used. Debbie Mash, Action 4 in North Oklahoma City.
Opening statements, and I would like to which geographical area of the state short press conference, and we'll be there. Some of those under the jurisdiction of the Department of Human Services who were actually students in the prior school system, and that the physical abuse wanting to be stopped was spanking, not beating, not whipping, but spanking of high school students for disruptive behavior, which under the law in Oklahoma is allowable.
As the mercury climbs, many Oklahomans are beating the heat, boating. Whether skiing or sailing, their purpose is the same, pleasure. Hundreds take to the waterways enjoying the state's lakes, and there are few restrictions. Anyone, despite their age or experience, can try his hand at operating a boat. But the fun day on the water sometimes ends in disaster, a boating accident that injures or kills. The problem? Well, most boaters know a lot about enjoyment, but little about precaution. That's according to the United States Coast Guard.
Some of the causes are obviously equipment failure. But I think probably a large number of the causes are related to inexperience and people not obeying the rules of the road or knowledge of their equipment and how to use it properly. The large majority of boating accidents are avoidable.
The U.S. Coast Guard says for a fun and safe boating trip, know your boat's limitations, observe safety precautions, don't overload your boat, operate the boat at a reasonable speed, and have approved flotation devices. For more information on boating safety, call 686-4263. Debbie Mash, Action 4.